Which of the following are the real limits of the interval 90 to 94 in a grouped frequency distribution where the scores measure a continuous variable? All right, so a continuous variable is a variable where we don't have to have exact values. Like, for example, if I asked you to count how many cars were in the parking lot you parked in this morning, there could have been 90 or 91 or 92 cars or 93 or 94 and so on. But you couldn't have had 90.237 cars. You're not going to get a partial answer like that. Data like parked cars or counting data of any sort of count, counting data where you're counting actual things, physical objects, you need to, you would consider that as being discrete data. That's when you're performing counts. But here they're talking about continuous data. Continuous variables are when we measure something. So if I asked you how tall you are, you don't have to be 4 feet or 5 feet or 6 feet. You could be somewhere in between. And again, you don't have to be 4 foot 10 or 4 foot 11 or 4 foot 12. You could be somewhere in between one of these. I could get as specific as I want to be. If I was measuring in metric, I could say that you are 160.73829 centimeters tall. We could get even more accurate if we had a more accurate way of measuring. So continuous variables require that we don't just have simple categories like 90 to 94. We have to extend those back a little bit down to the lower real limit, which is a half step below, so that's 89.5. And we have to go ahead to the upper real limit, and that's a half step above, so that's going to be 94.5. So that's actually going to be the answer for this case. So where do we see that? We've got 89.5 to 94.5, so B is our answer. And the reason for that is that if one category, like they've pointed out here, is 90 to 94, and the category below is the previous, this is 5 scores. This is 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. So if I went up to 89, and from, what would this be? This would be 85 to 89. That would be the previous one, and then below that I would see 80 to 84. What if you got an answer that was something like 89.327. Where would you put that? Well, this only goes up to 89. This one starts at 90, so we would need to know where to fit that in. That's why we have our upper and lower real limits. 89 actually goes to the upper real limit of 89.5. And so this would fit into this category. Also, just to be careful here, this one starts a half step below. This is also 89.5. So what if you got a value of exactly 89.5? Well, in that case, we go up to, but not including 89.5 here. 89.5 is included here. So if you do land exactly on the boundary, then you go to the next category up. But in our case, we just needed to know what are the real limits for an interval 90 to 94. So you go a half step below and a half step above. That gives us 89.5 to 94.5.